Hopefully you got a chance to see part 1, which is kind of the cholesterol oil of this series, but actually it's a fun way to learn 5 words that make you a Harley expert. Now, whether you learned that stuff or not, this video is going to be a lot of fun because we're going to take a look at all the bikes that are detrimental to the progress of Harley Davidson. But other videos are coming behind, including the AMF crazy stuff they put the Harley logo on. I accidentally ended up in the Harley Davidson library, which is really not books. It's motorcycles on a shelf, and they pull them off like books. The Daredevils of Harley Davidson, the movie star bikes of Harley Davidson, and the military and service vehicles that Harley Davidson produced for our country. These are going to be great videos, and I put them into a sequential order. There's nothing like the taste of cheap beer, good cheese, and great music. And isn't that what Wisconsin is all about?
Good morning, everybody. This is Redheaded Step Stacker on our newest adventure at the Harley Davidson Museum. Stay tuned. This is going to be a fun episode. All right, everybody, you guys ready to roll inside this place? Are you getting dizzy yet? I am. Let's do it. I got my Danny Trejo so I can be inconspicuous, and I am wearing my I voted but it didn't count t-shirt. In 1903, 2 guys, Art and Bill, started hanging out too much. Enough to start, that was a big step.
These are very impressive, at least 16-foot doors made of steel. As you enter the lobby, this is the opposing wall from the doors, and the prices were actually quite reasonable, I thought. $22 for an adult, $5 for the little radio you can carry and listen to. There was tons extra information in there, but I didn't really find it enjoyable to use. It was like when you had a Nokia. And the darn thing was so quiet at top volume, I guess so the cheapos who didn't rent it can't hear anything. So this is where our story begins. This is serial number 1. And there's some controversy about it. I think the answers are pretty simple. The problem being that the frame showed up in production 2 years later. And this being a revolutionary frame, I don't think in year number 2 they had the money to patent it. So I think they had it designed sitting on the side, and they put it into production when they had a legal patent on it, but they always had this as their true number 1 inspiration for the product. So for me, mystery solved, but isn't that interesting? A leather belt, and how that worked is very interesting, but we're not going to go that deep today. Now, surrounding this display is a lit box, and that box is 10 feet by 15 feet, and that represents the space that this bike was built in. So the first 2 years of production, they only built 6 bikes basically for their friends. By 1905, production was under 20 bikes. By 1906, production was hovering about 50. In 1907, when they opened the factory on Chestnut Street, they produced 150 bikes. And in the summer of 1907, Harley and Davidson headed to the Chicago Auto Show to recruit dealers by offering them an extra $30 for every 5th bike ordered. Up until 1906, the bikes were painted black, then they used gray. The bike became the Silent Gray Fellow. In 1909, they offered the twin-cylinder engine, and this bike wasn't so quiet anymore. In 1913, Harley Davidson was producing 1 motorcycle every 7 minutes in their new and improved Chestnut Street 300 square foot factory. And in 1918, Harley Davidson approved an outside manufacturer to create a sidecar. The sidecar was an extra $90, and the engine upgrade that they recommended was $100. The base price of this motorcycle at this time is $275, so we're looking at $465 tax not included, for this whole package. Now, don't mistake the constant olive green paint everywhere for Army vehicles. This happened to be the next color in line after light gray. And this happened to be the first generation of Harley Davidsons that actually look like Harley Davidsons. This is the new low frame. They called the original frame the high frame. 1931 to date is still the lowest sales in the history of Harley Davidson. 1932, they figured out it wasn't a fluke, and in 1933, they couldn't afford to develop any new technology. So what they did is they added paint options. The following year, they tripled their sales and were able to put money back in to bring us the next mile marker in Harley-Davidson history. In 1936, Harley-Davidson told their dealerships not to hype the new motor too much, but the knucklehead was embraced by the consumers. And this is the motor that took Harley-Davidson through World War II and brought those GIs home to start the motorcycle club craze. In the 1940s, there's little to no chance that either Harley or Davidson would have to call somebody to borrow $20. That company was rocking. That decade brought us a lot of improvements, including aesthetic ones like the metal badge on the tank. They improved the carburetor, they made the knucklehead engine more efficient. So when you hear an old biker dude talk about knuckleheads, they made them for 30 years, he's probably thinking about the 40s. During the 1950s, America started to see many import motorcycles, and that definitely affected the sales of Harley-Davidson. So Harley-Davidson spent the 50s developing a smaller bike for the younger market to keep those people loyal to the Harley-Davidson brand, and the outcome was the Sportster. In 1957, Harley-Davidson introduced the Sportster, the motorcycle that has best introduced people to the brand for the last 65 years. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe or thumbs up, please do. I'd appreciate it greatly. Thank you for joining me in part 2 of this vacation in a day. See you in the next part of this Harley adventure. And, you know, the archives is very interesting. It was a big cage. It was crazy. And I'm going to start leaving my personal thoughts at the end. On September 25th, en route to the Apple Pork Festival in Clinton, Illinois, we broke 200,000 miles on the Yaris. And I've been keeping track, but forgetting to put it in. So here is where the odometer starts on today's trip. So 3 episodes later and 1,000 miles more. Peace and love worldwide. Live your life before your life lives you.